I've been traveling to the US. So here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are listening from. Welcome to another edition of the England Roger Sports Hour. Sitting in with me again is Monali. Maybe we should just say the Ingle Roger and Monali Sports Hour. Roger's away and maybe away for a little while, so Monali will be in from time to time. And Manali, a lot of sports happening. I woke up this morning early because the Open golf is on,
Mhm.
and I've been watching the golf and some interesting things. And there's a discussion that I heard that I want to get just talk to you a little bit about, but I'll let you do your little introduction first, and then we can get into it.
Introduction of myself, or
And for the day, anything you want to say for the day?
well, it's turning out to be another beautiful day. Like you said, there is a lot of sports happening, a lot of exciting things. You're talking about golf. I want to pick your brain on the Legends meeting that went down in the West Indies. So I'm looking forward to an exciting hour.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about West Indies cricket. We might spend them almost most of the time talking about West Indies cricket because there's so much happening there. Yeah, I have my opinion on that Legends meeting, and I saw something that Andy Roberts said, which he said, these three gentlemen, the president, the director of cricket, and the coach would resign immediately, and he thought the Legends meeting would make a difference. So we'll talk about that for sure. But what I wanted to ask you this about the golf is, there's always this discussion about the GOAT.
Hmm.
And I was watching the golf this morning and they were talking about Rory McIlroy. And to me, he's okay. He's not a bad player. He's won the four majors, joins an elite group of six that has done that. But they're talking about him in category about the GOAT with Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus. And I thought, like, what does make someone a GOAT? Should we have GOAT of the era? Or, because I don't think you should be talking about Rory McIlroy in the same vein as Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus.
That's a really interesting discussion. And I think I would agree with you. I mean, Tiger Woods was Tiger Woods because he dominated for years and years. And we could have, similar to tennis, we could have goats based on eras. We just saw
Hmm.
Federer retire recently, Nadal retired recently. We could have them in eras. But to me, I would probably agree with you. I don't think Rory McIlroy kind of fits into that bill yet.
No, I don't think so. Even now, they're saying he's the best player in the world. I don't agree with that because I think Scotty Scheffler is showing he is the best in the world at the moment.
Yeah.
And he is leading the Open Championship at the moment, Scotty. And I don't believe when he gets ahead, he's going to be easy to catch. He's just such a player. The first day he struggled a bit, but he had a 7 under yesterday, and now he's at 10 under for the lead. And so I think Murray McIlroy, I think he's a good player. He's talented, but being a good player and talent is not enough. I don't think he has the mentality of these other guys.
I think the consistency for me is where it's important.
Hmm.
And when we're looking at some of the legends, some of the goats in any sport, they've got to be able to be dominating consistently enough to be able to get that title.
Hmm. They do, and the other thing that I've seen recently too is they're saying the quote or the greatest woman of all time, but um, in some sports you can basically just say the goat because a woman can be the greatest of all time in that
Yeah.
sport. And there's gonna and we talk about tennis, but there's also the argument if Serena Williams was the greatest tennis player of all time too. So I mean now they're trying to categorize for women and men, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a conversation that we definitely can look into because I think at the moment, if you look at cricket, I think Haley Matthew is West Indies' best batter. Period.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so and So that's really just something to discuss. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on the Open Championship because I'm very much interested in seeing how that goes because leaderboard is an interesting. It's a tough course, and it's Scottish Scheffler's. The Matt Fitzpatrick is just a shot behind Brian Harman, who won in 2023. Is 2 shots behind, and Hogard Lee, an interesting player. Lee is actually someone who was about to quit. And then he won a championship and he decided to stick around for a while. And he's tied number 3 at the moment. So
Yeah.
some good names at the top there. Robert McIntyre, the Scottish guy, Joe Hatton. So it's going to be an interesting couple of days. And I think yesterday for me, in watching yesterday's game, I think Bryson DeChambeau, he was the player of the day because he had to fight to get into to make the cut, and he did. He played some really good golf yesterday, and it's always interesting to see him play too. Because in his early days, Bryson was a guy about power, distance. Now he's started to learn there's more to golf than that. So it's interesting to see these guys. We'll keep an eye on that. Um, there's another thing that I wanted to talk about that we don't talk a lot about on the show is boxing. I don't know if you follow boxing, but recently there's a lot of going on with Clarissa Shields and Layla Ali. And Layla Ali says if you pay her 15 to 20 million, she will fight Clarissa Shields. And there's a lot of back and forth on those two now. I don't know if you've seen any of their stuff on social media.
I've got to be honest, I don't follow boxing
Mm,
at all.
mm,
Um, I do find it very violent. And I often wonder how your brain manages to function normally after you're done competing.
Competing, yeah.
It's it's a very vigorous sport.
It's a sport that I do like actually as well too, and I follow and yeah, it's interesting to see how these two have been back and forth on social media on different shows that Leila Ali's probably close to 50, but she says she'll knock out Clarissa Shields and she'll come back and fight. And maybe she was inspired because she was an announcer a couple of weeks ago, last weekend I think, where there was an all women's card in Madison Square Garden. So maybe she looked at that and thought, hey, I can come back and fight some of these girls. And Clarissa Shields, to me, is the best female boxer in the world. So for her to call her out, and I mean, Clarissa is much younger and stronger, in my opinion. But Layla is doing a lot of work at the gyms recently.
So I've got to ask you, when they challenge like this, who sets up the match?
Well, there are promoters who are jumping on it, and I mean, in fact, Clarissa Shields today I saw somewhere she was standing behind, in front of a check written to Layla Ali for 15 million, and they said she went out and found someone who wants to give the 15 million, so she's ready
Wow.
to fight her,
Wow.
and they're both. I mean, Layla Ali, her dad, Muhammad Ali, he was known for it's a lot of talk about before any fights and calling out people. So, I mean, you're looking at a 30-year going to fight a 47-year-old. I mean, don't get me wrong, because Layla Ali looks in great shape, but I don't know if she'll be a match. When she said she's never lost, and she's not going to lose to this girl, to Clarissa. She'll knock her out. So it will be interesting to see if that happens. But I have a feeling that fight will happen. So, but if you have some time, yeah, and I know you said you don't like boxing, it's not your favorite sport. If you have some time, just have a look and see because it's just the hype behind it. I don't
Yeah.
know where, you know, I believe it just happened that Layla Ali was being interviewed and asked if she would fight again. And she just said, yeah, if they give me 15 to 20 million, I'll fight Clarissa Shields. And this
She's
has
got
just
50
started.
million now.
Yeah. So this fight, I believe, Clarissa Shields is actually fighting on the 26th. And if, I'm sure after that, there probably going to be some discussions on her fighting, those two fighting. So we will also keep an eye on that boxing to see how it pans out. You're listening to Love Bay Afrobeats Music Talk Radio. You're listening to the England Roger Sports Hour. Sitting in for Roger is Monali. And Monali, there's a lot of sports happening, as we say, but I wanted to spend some time on something you touched on earlier, the West Indies cricket. And I think, as much as I really would like to hide it and not talk about it, it happened. 27, the second lowest score in the history of Test cricket. How did that happen?
Well, I think a lot of things have to go wrong for something like that to happen, don't they? And I don't think it's just a matter of what's happened on the day of. I think this has been coming some time now.
Hmm.
And we've had this discussion with Darren Sammy taking on the position as coach. It was pretty quickly after his playing days as well. I want your
Hmm.
opinion on that. I want to ask you whether he might have been rushed into the head coach position. I mean, there's experience and then there's qualifications and certifications, and I feel like all of that is very important in the pathway of being able to take on a side. We can't always blame the coach, so I'm not necessarily saying it's Darren
Hmm.
Sammy's fault, but I think there are a lot of functioning factors here. And you can call all the legends that you want in a meeting, but what's going to come out of that, or what is coming out of that?
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, I don't think Darren Sammy has gone through coaching certifications from what I've been told and from different sources I've spoken to. But I think they're thinking he's a good man manager. But at that stage of cricket, I always believe, yes, you should be a good man manager. You shouldn't be having to work with technique and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, West Indies don't have a proper base program. The grassroots program, the infrastructure is not good enough to say when you get to Test cricket. They're learning at that time. Back
Yeah.
when you had the days of Carl Hooper, Viv Richards, Brian Lara, they had opportunities to play regionally and then play in England. They played a lot of 4-day cricket, longer version. But nowadays, when they look in the Caribbean, every country, all I see is T10 or T20,
Yeah.
mostly T10 even now. And that's what people are chasing. And Brian Lara actually said players are using West Indies to get into these franchise leagues,
Yeah.
not the other way around.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of stuff. It didn't just happen, as you said. And I saw someone posted something on Facebook, and I just basically said people are talking about West Indies being bowled out for 27, but the best team in the world was bowled out for 121. But that's not justification,
No,
right? So
it's
I
not.
don't
I mean,
see how that.
27
No,
is a slap in the face.
exactly. I mean, how can I mean, seven ducks.
Yeah.
It just not good enough. And West Indies, there's a lot to look at. There's so much. I think asking to meet with the legends is just a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
But going back to Sammy, what he's not been successful. He's coached at the PSL. He's coached at CPL. I think he might have won. San Lucia won once at CPL, but he hasn't shown any success. And I believe um, um, Andre, Andre, yeah, Andre, I keep missing the last name, but Andre, the coach, previous coach, he was
Mhm.
actually getting some results and getting somewhere. And Andre Cooley. And actually, yes, they were saying, I saw Carl Hooper said that he thinks they need to go back to him, but West Indies will never do that. So I don't believe Darren Sammy is the right person for the job, especially in Test cricket. So they have a lot to look for.
What do you make of Phil Simmons?
But Phil Simmons is happy at Bangladesh, I believe. I don't think he'll go back to West Indies. I think he was doing a good job there in West Indies. They've had their differences. Remember, they got rid of him. There was a case he won, and then he came back when Skerritt was there. But I think Phil is happy where he is, and I don't believe he will go back to West Indies. I think Andre is the right person for West Indies at the moment, and I think they should go back to him. He's, from what I understand, he may. Well, I think his contract with West Indies just finished, was ended in June. I don't know if they've renewed it, but he should be in the system somewhere.
Would you consider maybe bringing in someone from South Africa or Australia?
I don't think that it really make a big difference. We had players from those places there already. Stuart Law was there for a while,
Mm.
and I don't believe it's going to make a difference. I think a lot of the things we are saying is the coaching. It's not just the coaching at the top. Look, for example, you've seen West. I don't know if you've seen West Indies team for the T20s, and you've got Joel Andrew, who just said is going to be your next best thing, and you're giving him T20 debut selection with what, for what reason? Try and let the young man develop his cricket.
Yeah,
And you're not going to develop from playing T20 cricket. And so I think West Indies is just going about it the wrong way. And like, I think it's Carl Hooper also said, or Brian Lara said, they just lost Make 27, but just seeing post on social media. What have you done to be
I
posting?
saw that. Yeah, you've got time to post all these reels. You've been bowled out for
Mm,
27.
yeah.
But I would agree with him in a certain way because he went on to say, he blames the IPL for a lot of the reasons why West Indies is struggling right
Hmm.
now. And if we look at the trend of the players in the last 10 years that the West Indies has lost to T20 cricket and lost completely to franchise cricket, it's
Hmm.
astronomical. I don't think any other country or any other region has lost as many players of that caliber than the West Indies has. And they're still
And
actively playing around the world. They're just not playing for the
that,
West Indies anymore.
and that's true. I mean, look at Kyle Mayer's a double century in his first series.
Hmm.
Then you have Shea Hope,
Yeah,
back-to-back hundreds in Lords.
yeah,
And then he decided that he wanted to get in franchise cricket, so he re- retooled himself and became more of a one-day a white ball cricketer.
yeah,
Chase made brilliant centuries against India,
yeah,
did the same thing. So these players were capable, but they've decided that we're going to go the T20 route, and that's what's happening. As you said, a lot of them are playing. And if you look at the talent, Puran retired at 29.
yeah,
You know, these are the guys who are very talented. What's his name? Brandon King. He was part of the 2014 West Indies under 19 crop, and he looked like the person who would have made it. Het Meyer, another
yeah,
one. Het Meyer doesn't even look like a cricketer now. I mean, I
yeah.
watched the game last night, and I could not believe the weight that I saw he had on him. So yeah, I think the talent is there, but is how do you nurture this talent? How do you groom these players? I mean,
Yeah. And I think now culturally, it's also becoming so common to make the West Indies side make an impact and then find your mark in franchise cricket. It
hmm
like you mentioned it earlier, it's become a stepping stone to play for the West Indies for the global franchises. Unlike the other way around, where you stick it out with the West Indies when you've got time in your calendar, then you go out and you play some of your franchise cricket.
we do. And look at the West Indies played ODIs in England and Ireland. Shafane Rutherford, Shepherd, they were selected, but
Yeah,
IPL was rescheduled due to the issues with it with
yeah,
Pakistan, and they choose to stay there.
yeah,
So West Indies cricket is not priority for these young players, and I really think that's something everyone says that there's not enough money or whatever, but there's a franchise system in the West. There's in the West Indies. The teams are now like the league when you represent the Leeward Islands, etc.
yeah.
You're contracted and you're paid to play and you're paid to train.
So, how do the NOCs work with the West Indies? Because I'm assuming they're going to need an NOC from the board to play some of these leagues.
They get the NOCs. Remember, I don't know if you recall. I think was maybe Chris Gale early on, or someone that refused to give an NOC, and he challenged them legally. So from since I think West Indies also benefit from these NOCs.
Yeah, but they're
because
also losing players to the NOCs.
yeah, they get money when they got the NOCs. So, and they're losing players. You're right, but it's just that I don't know why. I don't know what's going to happen to West Indies cricket. There's a lot of when you look at the youngsters, there's a lot of talent. But then another concern to me is we're just talking West Indies cricket, and the other concern is the under 19s. USC has gone down there and won the under 19 championship,
Yes.
bowling out Barbados for 88. What's
Yeah.
that saying about one of our strongest territories? What's that talking about the programs?
And that's the under 19. That's your
And
future
that's
squad right
and there's
there,
a
right?
future squad,
So
yeah.
it says a
And
lot about USA and their under
mhm,
19 program. And they've got two full squads there.
they've
So
got two full squads and a women's team that's going
yeah,
to Trinidad to play
yeah,
West Indies. So I think they're doing a good job. But West Indies have lost it somewhere, and I don't blame just cricket West Indies. I think the territories have to also take some blame
yeah.
because I don't know the last, let's say Leeward Islands. I think for 10 or 11 years there was no Leeward Islands championships. They just ask the countries to send your best players, have a camp and pick a team. That's
Yeah.
not the proper way to do it. How do you develop cricket? Like in St. Kitts, there's not been any multi-day format cricket for maybe the last 10, 15 years. They
Yeah.
just play T20 and OD. May not even, I can't even say one days because the one day matches are 40 overs.
So cricket was just recently added to the Pan American Games for
Hmm.
2027. And I'm assuming the West Indies is going to have to compete individually as the
Correct.
islands.
Hmm.
So do you think that might help increase the amount of cricket that the islands are playing within themselves?
I don't think so. I think they're going to go through the same systems and just select the team of whoever is available and send them because the Panam Games is not going to be anything that big to them. Panam Games is it's a big thing for cricket, but Panam Games is not.
Yeah.
They're not the players who are the top players are not going to ask you. Are not going to go because they want to be paid. So you're not going to get the best players playing.
I feel like it is a big step for cricket, especially with the Olympics coming, the Pan
Hmm.
American Games, the Commonwealth Games for the women, now the Olympics for men and women. We're globalizing this sport quite a bit. But if you are a West Indies, and like you just mentioned, where the under 19 US sides are coming in and they're dominating a regional tournament, I think the West Indies is gonna need to start thinking about these aspects because now the region is starting to get stronger and they've started to go backwards.
They are. And you look at some of the comments, just look at the director of cricket. Like today, I'm just paraphrasing, but today he basically said that you need a batting coach who can identify the players' problems and and have a system and drills, etc., that will help them to improve. And the technique is bad, etc. So you've got this Floyd Reefer as your batting coach now for the last 3, 4 years. You
Yeah.
didn't know that he wasn't the qualified. Now that we've made 27, now you say, okay, we need to look at it.
Yeah.
So I think something is definitely wrong. And, you know, the politicians blame this administration, the administration blame, and some, in St. Vincent, where Shallow is from, the president,
Yeah.
he's getting blamed a lot because he's also running for office in St. Vincent, a political office. So some people are saying, make up your mind whether you want to run West Indies cricket or be a
Or
politician.
politics. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Fair
not
enough.
both. Yeah, so these things are happening. But if we discuss a bit about what the benefits of the meeting with the legends, I don't think it'll make a difference. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, Viv Richards, Clive Lloyd, Brian Lara, Chanda Paul, whoever else on the committee, I think Carl Hooper, maybe the Sawan, they've been there. They've had their say. Sawan questioned of Sammy's selection when he was selected.
Yeah.
Some people feel Sammy has too much power. So I think it's just what you call it. I don't know. It's just something to do, just to say
I
people they're doing something.
Yeah, and I firmly believe with you that I don't think this problem is just at the top level. I think they need to go back and they need to think about all of the development pathways that they have in place right now. They've got to figure out their coaching and then they've got to go from there.
Yeah. There's, there's a noise in the background. Yeah.
That's yeah, my
Oh,
son
oh, he's doing something. That's fine. Kids do things. Yeah, that's okay. No, I thought it was something
trying to
else.
get
Just
into the door and I'm locked
oh,
in.
okay. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of things to look at. As you said, the pathways, their coaches, the things that their coaches at coach education, and things like that. They need to look at. I think the experiences that the coaches need. I mean, it's West Indies team is just the easiest team to get into at the moment because they're fighting for players. So anybody that looks good in one season, he gets thrown into in the team. Kevin Anderson, I mean, I feel for the young man. The two openers were injured, and he had to bat open on with a pink ball at night,
Yeah.
swinging. He just looked lost at your debuts, and then so yeah, it was just a rough time for him. And yeah, I don't know what Weston is going to do, Monali.
I think it's a long-term development plan.
It's long term. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
think
long.
they have to invest time into their pathways. And if it means jeopardizing the next few years at international cricket, it's fine. But put in that place in the grassroots level and go from there.
Zimbabwe had to do that. Zimbabwe stopped playing, decided not to play Test cricket for 5 years,
Hmm.
and they're coming back now. I mean, they're not at the top of the game, but yet
Yeah,
some games they're holding their own. So
yeah,
yeah, so I think West Indies will have to discuss. You don't want to see West Indies totally out because they have players who can play. But
yeah,
I think what we saw, in my opinion, the players that were there before, like Athanaze, Hodge, these guys were starting to get to a point where they were understanding the game and getting comfortable playing Test cricket.
yeah, yeah,
But then Sammy decided he wanted back the T20 stars or the ODI, the white ball stars in the
yeah,
team. And if it worked well, he would have looked like a genius,
yeah.
but it backfired. And now
And
we, mhm.
I think you probably could enlighten me a little bit more on this, but I feel like once you've crossed over that bridge to the T20 side and the franchise side, the work ethic starts to drop as well.
It
You don't
drops.
need the same sort of time in the gym, the same sort of time in the nets. The mindset is automatically clicked to think for that 3 hours that you're going to be in the game.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that starts to slide as well. But we're not saying take West Indies out of the international cricket scene. We're just saying maybe invest a little bit harder on the grassroots and the
Yeah.
pathways. I think this goes for their men and their women. Both
Both.
seem to be struggling. And
Yeah.
it'll be a really interesting test to see how the West Indies under 19 side, the women's side, goes against the US under 19 side.
Yeah, it's been very interesting to see how that goes. And yeah, you're totally correct because it's just not about getting them out of international cricket and not letting any cricket be played. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot to be done. If you look at the overall, something is going right for West Indies right now. The positive is the bowling attack is
Yes.
becoming world class. They're getting there. So it is the batting now that we have to work on. But the
Well,
bowling attack's been better.
this is what's been my most painful moment to watch the West Indies because you're seeing the scores, and you're seeing Australia bowled out for 250, 200 odd runs, which you don't see an Aussie side get bowled out for typically.
Right.
And then you're thinking, surely it's 225 runs, it's 250 runs. West Indies has to be able to chase this down. It's peanuts.
Hmm.
And then they come out and they bowled for 27 runs. And you're thinking, everything that the
Yeah.
bowlers have done, all the effort that they put in, you just can't balance it with a bat.
Yeah, the bowlers always think, okay, we've done our job, we're going to put our feet up. But in 40 overs, they're back out there. And I'm just going back to T20 cricket, as I said, in T20 cricket and the mindset of batting and training, it's 120 balls. One batter is not going to get more than 30, 40 balls, right? So sometimes maybe 50, depends. But
Yeah,
really, you need so they don't have that mindset, as you said,
yeah,
to bat long periods. And that's what's needed. You need to bat time. sessions time. They don't have that. They have that in their mind to just play shots, and it's showing. They're getting out
Yeah.
silly. I'm even concerned about the West Indies team going into this T20. The West Indies is supposed to have a good T20 team, but you look at I looked at the Guyana finals, and Evan Lewis, Sheffield, and Rutherford, they're not looking in great form, and they're allowed to play last night. Now they fly out probably today to Jamaica to play in a game tomorrow against Australia.
Yeah.
They're not really gelling and training with the team, so
Yeah.
these are little things you need to look at.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
whole player management, man management structure then comes into play as well, doesn't it? Managing
Yes,
those
it does.
workloads.
It does. And Manali, we can talk West Indies all day, but I don't think we're going to solve it here. But if we talk about the series, just wrap up and tell you about the series. The first test match is where I think they faltered. They should have won that test match.
Mhm.
Bowling out Australia for a low score, 188, I think it was. And
Yeah.
then just barely, just making it actually. So just leading by 10 runs wasn't good enough. So I think West Indies have a lot to do, a lot of work to do. And 27, you can't forget it, but you have to move on and work hard to make sure. Remember when West Indies played Australia when Brian Lara was captain? I think his last stint as captain. They got bowled out for 51 in Trinidad. And then they went to Barbados and won that test. Brian Lara scored 153, not out, and
They don't have a Brian Lara in that side right now.
they don't. And that's the thing. They need batsmen who wants to bat long and who
Yeah.
actually put some value on their wicket.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that I'm seeing that in the West
Well,
Indies.
and I'm just looking at the scores from the last three games, and
Hmm.
the West Indies only managed to cross 250 once. In the second game, the first innings, 253. All of the other innings have been under 200,
Wow.
and three of them have been under 150.
Mm. And that's not good.
So
And that
it's,
shows the mentality of the players
yeah,
and their techniques and etc. So we'll continue discussing West Indies cricket, I'm sure, and the men, the women. The women need some development, as you said as well, and we'll keep an eye on that series with USA and see how that goes. So you're listening to England Roger Sports Hours with me is Monali Patel on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. And Monali, last night was the final of the GSL, and
mhm.
I think for the president of Guyana, Irfan Ali, couldn't go any better because Guyana are the champions. They
They are
defeated,
champions.
yeah, they defeat. And I watched that game, and I was thinking, oh wow, it's gonna be not good. But then Johnson Charles, he got into a rhythm. And but the sad thing about it is they scored 196, which was good.
Yeah,
Charles scored 67 and Gurbaz 66. But the thing is, they had to retire Johnson Charles
yeah,
out because he was so tired.
yeah.
Again, and that goes to what you spoke about the fitness at this level
Fitness.
compared to, yeah, it's not there. Evan Lewis, he didn't do well. He was five. Shimron Maya, he got a duck.
Yeah,
He's another one who's in the West Indies team for
yeah,
tomorrow. But Shepherd and Weatherford played some Shepherd especially.
yeah,
He played a good innings at the end, 28 in 9 balls to
yeah,
get them to 296. So that was always going to be challenging. And the spinners, who the Ragpur have not been playing spin very well all season.
yeah,
And so Ragpur actually were the defending champions. So it was good to see Guyana win. And I'm sure, as I said, the president of Guyana, who started this tournament, is thinking, well, in the second year, it's going the way that I want to see it go.
yeah,
Yeah. And attendance was very good. It was a packed stadium. It was
yeah.
good.
Sold out. Yeah.
Sold out, yeah. So good to see that happening.
You ever
Other, go ahead.
you ever wonder, Imran Tahir, why he's retired so early? Because the man continues to bowl
He
well
continues
everywhere
to
he
do well.
plays.
He does. He's bowling well. Maybe he thought he was at an age that he wanted to retire. That's the only thing I can think of his age. But yeah, he's bowling very well and he's doing well. He could have still continued playing T20
Yeah, I think you
if
could
not
have.
Test cricket. Yeah, he could have still continued. Yeah, so other tournaments happening close to us, the Max 60 in the Caribbean, in
Hmm.
Cayman Islands. The Caribbean Tigers are unbeaten. The Cayman Bay Stingrays, they're unbeaten.
Yeah.
And watched a little bit of it yesterday. Didn't seem as exciting as last year for what I saw, but still, the quality of play was not that great in the game that I saw. But it is T10, and I'm not very excited. I just wanted to have a look and see. My whole interest was to see the setup in Cayman and what they've done to improve on last year,
Yeah.
having it there the first time. And the crowds, I was expecting to see bigger crowds, but it's not. But not
It's
too
early days too,
surprising.
though, isn't it? It's just been, I think today's just the second day of games so far.
Yes,
So they've got a few more days to go. I'm assuming crowds will start to fill up as they get closer to
probably
the end
today
of this
and yeah,
tournament.
probably
Yeah.
today and tomorrow, week being weekend, they'll get
Yeah.
and there are 5 games to the Monali, so a lot of games.
It's 5 games every
So
day. Even the first day was
it was
supposed to be five, but then they decided with four because they lost the first day.
okay,
They didn't start on the 16th as planned.
okay. So yeah, that's a lot of games to be playing. And there's an actual the game going on the Miami Blaze against Vegas Vikings. At the moment, there some of the players of who I thought were retired are playing in this tournament. But yeah, the there are Shehan Jai is on 20 not out. He batted well
Mhm.
yesterday too.
Yeah.
The 45 for 4. So, but we'll see next week. The finals next Wednesday. So by next week we'll be able to tell you the winner of that tournament.
I mean, we didn't have T10 when I was playing, but I would have been absolute nonsense at it.
Yeah, it's not something.
Even the T20
Um,
game for me is, I liked 50 over cricket.
yeah, I'm not a big fan of these games, but you know what? Yeah, it is the
Did
way
you
to go.
notice the game was reduced to 5 overs actually?
Oh,
Miami
really?
Blaze.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I just saw that. So 45 for 4 in 5 overs.
Hmm, 45. Not bad for 5 overs. Oh, yeah, it's a 5 of 5, and they're one without loss in point four. Yeah, you're right. Hmm. I guess maybe there was some rain or something this morning.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on those games. We'll probably be able to give you a score before we leave. Want to spend some time though and talk about the women because England and India are in a good matchup. I mean, India won the 5-match T20 series, but and lead the 3-match ODIs, but they're playing at the moment, and that series has been very good. And I
Mhm.
always watch the women cricket because I think maybe some of the men should be watching too, because that's when you see proper technique come into play. Most of these players
I also find
and
them
the
a little bit more entertaining. There's more of a
hmm
contest these days.
yes, there is, and it's not like when the women's game started. It was a struggle to watch, but now it's actually they've become athletes. They're playing
Yeah.
very good cricket, and as I said, it's more of entertainment, and also the matches are more competitive.
Yeah.
So
And I
India
also
has
think,
come a long way. Because remember the one time we were discussing India women, and we
yeah.
thought where were they going with their program?
Yeah, I think they're reaping the benefits of the Women's Premier League. And
Hmm.
it's starting to show in the shift of playing a completely different style of cricket than we've been seeing them play over the years. The aggression has changed, the intent has changed, and they have dominated England in this series, you know.
Yes,
And
they have.
I mean England's going through their own challenges as well, but to see some of the scores that we've seen from India, I think it
Hmm.
has a direct impact of that women's Premier League.
Yeah, they've been chasing down the scores pretty easily actually when they played. they look very dominant. And as you said, from playing in the WPL, there is definitely.
The strike
Um,
rates has been the biggest standout for me. The strike rates have been so different from what we're used to seeing a typical Indian side from back in the day. And of course, the women are allowed to play in other leagues in the world, whereas the men
oh,
aren't.
they
So
are okay.
they have the
Okay.
luxury of competing in the women's Big Bash, the women's CPL, the 100. So they're getting all that exposure, and you can start to see the
Hmm.
difference.
That's good actually for them to be playing there. What I was happy to see because I was actually one of the players that I like is Sophia Dunkley from England. She was having a rough time, but I've noticed the
Yeah,
last couple of innings that she's come on. She's got 83 in the last match, and she's a player who I've seen. She opens in the T20s, but then
yeah,
bats in the middle in the ODIs. And she went through a rough patch, but she's still young, and I think she will bounce back, and she's starting to do that. So I like to
yeah,
see her get 100 somewhere along the way, but
yeah.
some very good scores. 46 for one, and there we will keep an eye on that. Anything else you wanted to talk about the England and India women's series?
No, I think I'm good. I think
Okay,
it's been an exciting series.
there has been. There's also Zimbabwe in a tri series with South Africa and
New
New
Zealand.
Zealand. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think New Zealand has not lost yet. South Africa's 2-1. Zimbabwe haven't won a game yet. But the good thing I think for Zimbabwe is that they're now getting to play against top teams, and they're preparing for the African T20 World Cup qualifiers, which they host in September. So playing against South Africa and New Zealand is a good thing for them and
I
will
mean,
be confidence good. Hmm.
speaking of qualifiers, the European one was a bit of a shocker.
Yes, it was. Yes, something we definitely need to speak about. Yeah, we were discussing well, we with Scotland about playing some T20Is when they come here for the ODIs in October. I mean August, September. And they actually said if sure if they win, if they qualify, they would. But no, we were planning because we never thought Scotland will never qualify.
Yeah,
But Italy stunned them. Italy,
Italy. Yeah.
Italy has qualified for the World Cup, and that is the biggest shocker I think. Italy, they felt confident of going into that tournament. They kept saying that they have a chance, and
But
I think they
Scotland
have.
played a very poor brand of cricket in the qualifiers.
They did. They did. They played as the team that seemed a bit nervous or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tired, fatigued. I don't know which it is, but they played a very poor brand of cricket.
it did. Is a definitely
So
very
is it now
poor brand.
happening? Is there a T20 series happening then, or have they decided against
No,
it?
there's no. They leave right after. They're not staying back for any T20. So that's sad because Namibia can't stay back either because Namibia
Yeah,
leave to go to um,
qualifiers.
Zimbabwe for their qualifiers. So we won't have a T20. We're trying to get some T20s with other teams, but it won't be Scotland or Namibia, which is unfortunate. But Italy, interesting, I'm sure too, that they have qualified for the World Cup. And yeah, I think that was the biggest shock for me.
And it's just one round, isn't it? Which is even more
Yes,
difficult. Unlike the Americas, where you've got two rounds and you can afford to make up for some of the mistakes, it's just one round in the
just one
European
round.
qualifiers.
Yeah, because I think once you have more than four teams, it's
Yeah,
only one round, but four teams or less, it's a
yeah.
double round robin. Yeah, yeah. So it is really shocking to see that. But it is what it is. It's T20 cricket. It can go anyway,
I know,
and
but it's so hard when you're developing, isn't it? You need the money, you need
you
the
need
action,
the
you need
money.
to be making World Cups.
Hmm.
it takes you back a few years, especially when you don't have the consistency at that top level. Then
Yeah, you do need that. And yeah, it's a big setback for Scottish cricket for sure. Because, I mean, each team gets 500,000 for
yeah,
preparations and development for the World Cup. So it is a big setback. You're listening to the England Roger Sports Hour and Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. Sitting in for Roger today's Manali. Manali, I wanted to switch gears a bit
hmm,
and talking about another sport that I know you have played, and that's the women's Euro football,
soccer.
the soccer football. I think I heard that I saw something that the president said from now on it's football in America as well.
It
Because he,
makes sense, doesn't it? The entire world calls it football, except for North America.
except for North America,
And
yeah.
it's not even right for me to say North America. It's literally US and Canada.
Yes, US and Canada says soccer. But yet still, Toronto is called Toronto FC, Toronto Football Club.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a strange thing for me, but yeah, that's how it is. But yeah, I don't know if you've been watching the games, but I watched the other day with Sweden and England, and
Yeah,
Sweden must be thinking, what did we do wrong? Because they were up to nothing, and
yeah,
then England tied, and the penalties were horrendous. The worst penalties I've seen in a long time. Like nobody wanted to win. The goalkeepers kept saving, if not saving. The Sweden kickers were kicking it over the top of the goal post, and England ended up with a 3-2 win in that
yeah,
quarterfinals, and in a game that I didn't think they would win. So, but the other games, other quarterfinals, Italy 2-1 over Norway, Spain yesterday 2-0 over Sweden, and today's Spain is France and Germany. Sorry,
yeah.
the winner will play against Spain. Spain, we're waiting to see who comes there. So that game comes at 8 o'clock England time. So it should be what for us 5 hours difference, is it?
Um,
Three. So maybe 3 o'clock in the
three
afternoon. Yeah,
3 hours, I think.
yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be so it's England is struggling actually because they make have a lot of injured players. Even
Yeah,
in that game, the goalkeeper in the final moments she got injured because she one of her players went up for a ball and she got injured, but
yeah,
she stayed in because I guess they knew it could come down to penalty kicks and didn't want to change. So I was she just had to she was bleeding. They just taped her up, made her and she had to play. So, but
Who
hmm?
who do you think is going to win between Germany and France?
I think in Germany would win. I'm believing that Germany would win that game. Um, France has played well, yes, but I think Germany should get the edge. I'm gonna watch. If I'm wrong, then I don't know if I should bet on that game. Should I?
Well, I don't know how you definitely have a more sound knowledge of how they're going to play. So,
Yeah, I have not. I don't bet on games, so I've never. I actually don't even. It's funny. We were talking about betting a couple of days ago, and I said to one of the guys, I don't. They were talking about which were the best apps to use,
yeah.
and one guy asked me, "What do I think?" And I said, "You know what? I don't even know how to bet. I don't even
Yeah.
know how to. I'm not even registered to
Are we allowed to
bet
bet
app.
if we're involved in
You're not allowed to bet on cricket, but I think other
other
sports
sports
you
you can? Okay.
probably
I thought
can.
it was a blanket no betting
Oh,
rule.
I'm not quite sure. You could be right. But I hear people talk about how much money they win. I mean, I look at some of the. Oh no, he's showing one of the guys was showing me his thing and how they do it, and I said, you know what? It's not. It's easy. I think it's tempting. It
Yeah.
looks easy to win money from it, but it's not
I think it's
something that
also
I
just
would
as easy to lose money if you're not very careful.
exactly, exactly. So, and you can get caught up in these things and
Yeah.
get carried away, and yeah. So there are people that I hear say they win a lot of money, but yeah, you can, as you said, you can lose a lot. Just any gambling, that's how it is. They're not,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
gambling companies are not going to be in it to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
There's a reason why they've got money. Similar to
yes,
insurance companies.
yes, they're not in it to lose. So definitely. Uh, so the Euros will go, as we said, France, Germany. The winner plays Spain, and then we will be waiting for the semifinals and then the finals. 22nd of July,
Yeah.
that's the first semifinal, second one and 23rd, and the finals on the 27th.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Germany just so we have a challenge
Second
against each other.
time. All right.
Your
No,
standing
I'm
is based
German.
on facts. Oh, you said Germany, you said France.
I
Oh,
said
you did
Germany.
say Germany. That's you
Yeah, I
that's
said
right.
Germany.
So
So you
I'm
have
gonna
to
say
go with
France.
France.
I'm gonna say France is gonna surprise Germany.
Yes, we'll see. So next week we'll be able to discuss that. We've got about 10 minutes left, and a couple of things that I'm just looking at to see what's happening in the Diamond League, in the track and field
Mhm.
in London. And it looks like Alfred has just won the not the 200 meters. Julian Alfred, no surprises there. She did 21.171. Second place was Dina Asher Smith, who was away distance behind 22.25, and Brittany Britain's Amy Hunt was third at 22.31. So Daryl Nita was sixth, the other British person in that race. So nothing close. But I think Julian Alfred, she's the type of runner to me. When she go out there, she just puts it all out there. There's no letting up at all. And she has been doing well in the last. She lost one race, I think, for the season, 100 meter. But other than that, she has been just on top of her form. And the men's 100 meters, um, officially oblique Seville. Uh, he's Noah Lyles is in that race also, and some top runners in there, and that comes in coming up shortly. But that's the starting lineup. And Kishane Thompson, the world lead this year, he's run 9.75, and that's the Jamaican who, I don't know if you remember Kishane Thompson when he was in the finals of the 100 meters at the Olympics, and he doesn't run through the tape, and he eased up and lost the no lines right on the line. So that is something that he has to learn, and I think he's learning it fast because he's got the world lead in this 9.75, and he looks good, and he looks like a person who has realized he's going to revenge
Yeah.
whatever, and he's going to do his wrong, you know, so correct his wrong, and he's running very well. So the Diamond League, if you have time and you want to watch that, then you can tune in and look at that. I'm going to watch some of it once we finish the show. I don't know how to do some of the times in this sports because you've got the Diamond Leagues and then you have also the golf. So I'm going to have to probably switch between both of them.
I'm surprised you're not going golfing instead of watching.
No, not today. I golfed one day this week, but no, in the evening. And just a quick nine in the one evening, but no, I'm not going golfing today. Um, Not sure if I will golf the weekend actually. I have a barbecue to go to in the afternoon, so I don't think I will golf. In fact, there's an official times for the look like Oblique Seville won the 100 meters in 986. Noah Lyons was second in 10 flat season best, and Zarnell Hughes was third. So we got some results from that as well. And so I missed the 100 meters and the 200 meters, so maybe I wouldn't even watch too much of it. Have you golfed since you've been back?
No, we did go to the driving range last week, though.
Okay,
So that
this.
was something, I suppose. Um, I would like to, but I need to find the time to do that. And it's a little hard when you've got two kids on summer break and
Not easy to get in some.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
yeah. Do they go to any camps or anything? Or
No, so my daughter is now officially a competitive gymnast, so she's got
oh,
9 hours
okay.
of training a week.
Oh well, your life
Um,
is done.
yeah, so she's got very little time. My son and I, we try and keep busy. He has soccer once a week, but I haven't put them in anything else. I find if one of them's in a camp and the other one's not, then the other one's really bored,
Hmm.
and he's still a little too young for camps. Next year he'll be old enough. But we do have a pool. They're in and out of the pool all day, so it's not been too bad.
Well, we'll find some time. One of these weekends, I'll drive to Kitchener because a nice golf course is down there. We can get out on the lake somewhere.
I mean, I live across from one, and I
Yeah, so you
haven't
should
been.
come there. We'll book a we'll book a time that's convenient to you. We'll go down and play one weekend for sure.
Sounds
So
great.
I think that's definitely what we'll do. Well, we have about 4 minutes left to talk about anything you want to speak about before we wrap up. Uh, whether it's local cricket, the women's Canadian women's under 19. I think that wrapped up yesterday, which was successful. There were some good youngsters actually to see them play. I was a bit worried when I saw some of them because they look so tiny, but the
Yeah.
talent is there. The control that they showed in some of the bowlers, and yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of ability there. I think my biggest concern is how they're going to be managed from here on. I firm believer of them continuing in their academies where they are.
hmm.
And a lot of the younger ones are now playing with the boys' academy setup. And I think that's been some of the best start for them. In Canada, we don't quite have the the structure or the knowledge base in women's cricket that we need for them to just be playing girls cricket or women's cricket. I think at this point these young girls need to continue playing boys cricket because one of the things that really stood out to me last year is when you heard a conversation between some of the younger ones,
Hmm.
cricket related, they were talking field placements, they were talking right hand
Hmm.
left hand combinations, they were talking cricket. And you
Yes.
don't even hear some of the older girls talking this way because they haven't really had the exposure in terms of field placements. They don't read the game the way they should be.
Yes.
And I
That's so
think a
true.
lot of that, yeah, a lot of that comes through that club structure. So I really hope that we allow them to be able to continue that.
They need to be allowed, yeah. And the winners for just to let you know, the Yellow Yonders. I'm not sure where the name came from, but there's the Yellow Yonders. And the other teams are the Brown Bears, the Purple Panthers, Blue Blazers, Red Rockets, and Neon Ninjas. Those are the
Yeah,
six teams. And yeah, no surprise. The player of the tournament is Rabi Rabjot. That
yeah,
was no surprise. I mean, she probably could have won everything, the batting, bowling, play of the tournament, but there was a different person who was given the best batsman. They
yeah,
didn't just go on runs, which is a good thing because I don't believe you should just go on runs. I think that's very misleading. To
yeah,
say if you're gonna say most runs, I understand, but not best.
yeah.
So that is something. But
She's
anyway,
started to
mhm,
really improve, though, hasn't she? She
she
dominated
has
the under 19s last year. She's done it this year, but she's worked very hard on her games. So
very much
it's
so.
starting to give her results. Now we just need her to be able to perform at the higher level.
Correct. And we have come to the end of our time. So thanks again for those who joined in. Thanks for being with us for another weekend. Whatever you do, the rest of you, be safe and be good and enjoy the rest of your weekend.